There's that man again.
There's a breeze coming through the window that indicates autumn is on the way. Birds are chirping in the background. Nice and cool air coming through the window. Not quite there yet, but we're right at the precipice of fall. So, how about we talk about these legends of the fall or future legends in this video? Stay tuned, we'll talk about it. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Teddy Files. I'm your resident sommelier, Mr. Diaz Teddy. And today we are talking about fragrance legends of the fall, or fragrances that could become legends in the future. And one such fragrance that I wanted to talk about today has been out for a while, but not quite legendary just yet. But who knows what could possibly happen in the future, and that would be Montblanc Legend Night. So this fragrance here, aromatic, woodsy, somewhat powdery, has a nice green element to it as well. This just works perfect for autumn, fall, whatever you decide that you want to call it. I won't say it's like a sensational fragrance, but it's really, really good. It doesn't last very long, and I think that's one of the knocks on it. But as far as fragrance profiles and things of that nature, it kind of puts me in the mind that it doesn't smell exactly like this. It does not stink that I'm saying that. But it kind of puts me in the mind of Dolce & Gabbana, the one Parfum, I believe, more so like a Parfum than the EDT. This puts you in the mind of that a little bit. So some of your fragrance notes that you have, you got your cardamom, your mint, your clary sage and bergamot at the top with that apple, lavender, cedar, violet, and fir resin in the middle. And coming up at the rear would be that black vanilla, the agar wood, musk, vetiver, and patchouli. So this fragrance, like I said, it puts you in the mind of that, but doesn't smell exactly like that. But I think for me, it would do the exact same thing. It'd be perfect for date night. It's not going to be offensive in the office as long as you watch your sprays. It's not overly powerful. It's just a really good fragrance for the fall and winter time, because this could actually work well in the winter. You may have to ramp up maybe a few more sprays when it gets a little colder, but in the fall, when it's kind of that in-between weather, this is perfect. And that would be Montblanc Legend Night. So I think I like my microphone better like this, because when I have it over here off to the side, a lot of the times it doesn't catch me when I'm talking. And I'm pretty sure you guys would like to hear me if you're watching this video. So let's get to the next fragrance. So the next fragrance that we have up is a bit of a strange one, but it's strange enough to be likable, lovable, damn near even. And that would be Latafas Brioche Vanilla. Yes, Brioche. So we're going to get back to something I started doing, I would say a couple of months ago. And that was an idea that was given to me by, I forget, it was a young lady in the fragrance store. But she said this actually helps concentrate the fragrance a little better, and it breaks the notes down better. And it actually worked. I'm just not sure why I got away from it. But I guess sometimes I can be a creature of habit. So let's break those habits and start exploring new ideas. So getting back to this and spraying it here. So that way it's not all over the studio. And sometimes even on the strips, it gets all over the place. But when you concentrate it in here, you get the smell perfectly. So this one right here, you definitely get the brioche, but it's not off-putting. It was at first, because it was kind of like,
what the hell is even that?
Yeah, that. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But then as it starts to dry down and you get into the fir balsam and the vanilla benzoin and the praline and all of those types of things, it makes sense. The entire fragrance makes sense. It's almost, it kind of reminds you of something that a niche perfumer would do, because it's so different. It's so different. I can't really pinpoint anything it smells like, because you also get some freshness from bergamot as well in this fragrance. Like I said, it's a little bit of a strange duck. It's an odd duck, but it's a really good one, man. And it's one that when I was wearing it on my skin, I was walking around the house, was just kind of getting some things done. And I kept going back to it because it's addictive. It can be extremely addictive. So yeah, as you can see, I keep smelling it, man. This is a really good fragrance. So for the fall, not quite a legend, but it has an opportunity to be one. And that would be Latafas Brioche Vanille. So the next fragrance that we have coming up is a true legend of the fall. There's no question whether he is or isn't. He just is. And that would be John Varvatos Vintage. Definitely a legend of the fall and winter time. This fragrance right here, it screams gentleman. I mean, you get some of the tartness right at the top from that rhubarb, but when you start getting into the dry down, I'm going to have the fragrance notes up here on screen. There's no need for me to read an entire book to you guys. If you want to see all of the notes, you can go ahead and pause and read, but a lot of what you get when you smell this fragrance, especially off of skin, you get the rhubarb when you first spray it on. You get some of that clean lavender, but you definitely get the cinnamon, you get the tobacco, and you get the suede. Some of the tonka bean, the powdery nature of the tonka bean comes in a little bit later, the creaminess of that patchouli. This fragrance is exactly what it says. This is a vintage style, gentleman style fragrance, and is only for true gentlemen. If you're worried about longevity, yeah, it's not going to be the longest lasting, but as far as me, I've gotten about 6 hours or so out of it. So I haven't had a problem with very, very short longevity, but just, if you're looking for an 8 to 10 hour fragrance, this is not that. But if you're just looking to smell like a gentleman and leave a lasting impression and a lasting sillage behind you, you can't get any worse than something legendary as John Barbados Vintage. So the next fragrance that I got coming up is one that's not quite a legend of the fall, but if you put it on your skin, it could be legendary for you, and that would be Baruch's number 6 Attire. So this fragrance right here, the first thing that you're going to notice is what I'm going to show you right here is that's a crazy atomizer. That's a really good atomizement. I don't have to put this to my nose. This is strong, powerful fragrance. The sillage is already just it's nuclear. The sillage is nuclear, but as I break down the fragrance, the first thing you get is the sharpness of that bergamot grapefruit rhubarb combination. But what actually is the heart and soul of this fragrance, what you get mostly in this fragrance, is that rose, musk, amber, and vanilla combination. Some of the woodiness of that vetiver come in slightly at the back end of it, but it is mostly dominated by that amber, vanilla, and rose combination. This, to me, is an occasional fragrance. It's one of those date night, dress up, suit and tie, bow tie, whatever it is that you decide to wear when you go dressed out and going out when you're trying to be dressed to the nines. This fragrance will do that perfectly. This is an awesome fragrance, man. And in all honesty, when the winter comes, I have a couple of occasions where I need to wear something like this, and I will be definitely, more than likely, the best smelling guy in the room with number 6 Baruch Attire. So the next fragrance that I got coming up is definitely a fall legend, but it's not one that's talked about quite a bit because unless you're in the fragrance community, you really don't know about this fragrance. And of course, most of us, if you're watching this video, you're into fragrances like that, but your average consumer is not into stuff like that, and they're not going to find fragrances like this at your Macy's or your Ross or any of those types of places. More than likely, you're going to have to go online. You may have to go to some place like Dillard's or something like that. And this is not even the one of the most high-end expensive, but it's high-end in smelling, and that would be Josier, Hamburg To Bank. So this fragrance here, in my opinion, is one of the most spectacular amber tobacco fragrances on the market. Have you ever been Yeah, I had to. This is a pause.
right off your feet.
The first thing, that bergamot incense combination at the top of this fragrance is to die for. But then you also have that sandalwood patchouli in the middle. But that balance, that base, the star of the show, the tobacco, amber, and vanilla, sensational. Absolutely sensational. A magnificent fragrance that is not talked about as much as it should be. The longevity on this one also is pretty damn good. I've always gotten more than 8 hours on this fragrance. So when you want something great for the fall and winter months, this one right here should be right on your shopping list, and that would be Daniel Josier, Hamburg To Bank. So everybody pay homage when a legend walks into the room, and this is a true legend of the fall, and that would be Azzaro, Wanted by Night. So for fall fragrances, this is one of the top, especially in the designer realm. Already smell it, but let's bring it up. So right at the top, you get that lavender and lemon, some of that mandarin orange, but as it starts to dry down, you get those fruity notes with that incense and cinnamon. And of course, once you get to the third tier, you get to your tobacco, you get your vanilla, you get that cedar and leather combination. This is definitely a perfect nighttime, date night, all night, any night type of fragrance. So for me, always thought this was one of the more elegant fragrances in the Wanted by Night line, or the Wanted line altogether. Of course, you know, there's flanker after flanker after the Wanted, just fragrance itself. But the Wanted by Night one, to me, is still right at the top of that entire line. As a matter of fact, it's number 2 because Wanted is my favorite. But if you want to go with counting, well, which one is tier 1 and tier 2, this would be tier 2 for me. The fragrance lasts about 6 hours, but the sillage that you get off of this one is absolutely breathtaking. So as long as it's still available, of course, you guys know, go ahead and check that the description box of mine, and you will be able to find the fragrance as long as I can find it. I'll have the links down below. And hey, this might be the season where you wear something legendary on your skin like Azzaro, Wanted by Night. So the next fragrance I got coming up, once again, not quite legendary, but if you're trying to tell me that when the fall and winter come around, that this is not going to be a legendary fragrance.
Straight face. With a straight face, though.
Really? Let's talk about it. Fragrances, Coach for Men, EDP. Many of you have smelled this fragrance already. Just let that thing marinate, baby. Because it's already in the air. Already catching a lot of that cedar wood, a lot of that cardamom, that bergamot at the top, that bright bergamot at the top, a lot of that cedar, that leather. I'm not so sure what Safano leather, I don't know what that is. I just know that it's a leathery note with some vetiver and some cedar wood. And this right here is a spectacular fragrance. This perfect for fall, winter time, even spring. I think this will work pretty damn good in spring. A lot of your fragrance notes in this one. Yeah, I'm still sniffing. Yeah, you got cardamom and bergamot at the top. You got that cedar wood and geranium combination in the middle, but you also have that leather and vetiver at the top, at the bottom. So this fragrance right here, in my opinion, I did a test spray of it, and the longevity is pretty good. It was over 8 hours on my skin. I gave myself about 2 sprays on the arm, just kind of let it marinate, and just walked around the house. And yeah, this fragrance is a long laster, and the sillage, the fragrance bubble, the projection is really good. So this one right here, yeah, Coach went out of their way and did their thing on this one. So if you want to talk about taking fragrances to the next level, this is exactly what they did with this one. So go ahead and get your hands on Coach for Men, EDP. So the last fragrance I got coming up is Legendary House, legendary fragrance, perfect for the fall and winter, and that would be Prada L'Homme Intense. Many of you know the fragrance. For those of you that don't, Scent Split, I'm telling you, check it out in my description box. Get yourself a sample before you buy. Please don't blind buy stuff like this, because you may not be a big fan of Iris, but if you are a big fan of Iris, this will actually hit that spot for you. And me, I am a newly converted Iris fan. At first, I told people in the video before, I didn't like Iris. I thought it was very, very feminine in my opinion. And then I found a fragrance that featured the note of Iris in such a way that was palatable to me, but it also opened me up to so many different Iris fragrances. And then that's when I learned to appreciate fragrances like Prada L'Homme. And in all honesty, appreciate this one. I absolutely do. As a matter of fact, I can go further along and say that I absolutely love this fragrance. It is a breathtaking Iris fragrance. As far as your fragrance notes on this one, you got that Iris at the top, of course, with the amber and patchouli. But in this one, you also have some tonka bean, some leather, and some sandalwood to give it a more earthy and powdery base, even more powdery than with just the Iris. So it gives some more sweeter powdery notes as far as the tonka goes, but then you got that leather and sandalwood that just give it a little bit more oomph. This one might be a little bit more palatable to guys that are just getting into Iris fragrances than even the original, or I believe it's the one for the summertime, the one in the blue bottle. Can't think of the name of it at right now. But this one might be a little bit more palatable for people trying to get into Iris, because it does have a little bit more masculine nature to it. But as far as I'm concerned, the entire house, all of them are absolutely spectacular, even breathtaking. But for me, for those fall and winter, this one is the one that's the go-to fragrance. That is the legendary Prada L'Homme Intense. All right, everybody, that is my time. Thank you guys for joining me once again for this rendition of the Teddy Files that features some more fall fragrances and things that are legendary and things that have the possibility to be legends in the fall. So all of these fragrances are pretty good. And like I said, you can get them all down from my description box. Just go ahead and hit those links and it'll take you to the best prices available. They're not affiliate links. I will be coming up with some of those very soon, people, but understand this, much like a lot of the guys out here that are doing these fragrances, we're actually trying to do a service for you guys to be able to find the best prices available. Some of us put links up to fragrances that are priced in a different price bracket, even if it doesn't benefit us as far as our links go, because many of us do have that kind of integrity. I will speak for myself. I know that I do. So I will not put up a link that is connected to me that puts you to something that's priced at a different price and I can find it somewhere lower. That's not what I'm here to do. Now, if it's within $2 or $3 or $5, then that's splitting hairs at that point. You probably have to look for that for yourself. But if it's a $10, $20 difference, then I'm going to make sure I go with the other link. So that's just my little spiel for the end of the video. Please make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the channel, because it helps it to grow. And please make sure you hit that bell icon to let you know each and every time I upload a video, because my name is Mr. Diaz Teddy, your fragrance sommelier, and over here we do not do stink, so please don't be a stink ass. Have a good one.